Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to the continuation of our training on conflict management, resolution, and transformation. A very important course. This is the module 8. This is the part 4 of this particular course, and by the grace of God, that is going to be the final part of this particular training. We have been doing this training on conflict management, resolution, and transformation course, and like I said from beginning, it contains uh, it contains 10 modules. So we have been doing it from part 1, part 2, part 3, and this is the final part 4 of this training. And part 4 will continue with module 8. And module 8 of this training talks about conflict resolution in specific context. We have known that conflict actually manifests differently in various settings, each presenting unique challenges and dynamics. The module, of course, this module actually delves into tailored conflict resolution strategies for workplace, for family, for community, and even educational contexts. Equipping you with the skills to address conflicts effectively in diverse environments. Let us start with workplace conflict resolution strategies. So, understanding workplace conflict, we know that common sources. What are the common sources of workplace conflict? You know, Conflicts may actually arise in the workplace from maybe differences in communication styles, differences in work priorities, and even values, or even differences in personalities. And the impact of workplace conflict has to do with, can be unresolved. Unresolved conflict can actually lead to decreased productivity, even decreased morale, and even employee retention. So what are the strategies for workplace conflict resolution? The first strategy is open communication, encouraging transparent communication channels to address conflicts early in order to prevent escalation. That is the first strategy, open communication. The second strategy is the use of mediation and facilitation. Utilizing mediation and facilitation techniques to facilitate dialogue and reach mutually acceptable solutions. And the third strategy for workplace conflict resolution is conflict coaching. That has to do with providing coaching to individuals or teams to develop conflict resolution skills and manage interpersonal conflicts effectively. And the fourth one is establishing conflict resolution policies. When you develop clear policies and procedures for handling conflicts, including mechanisms for reporting and even addressing issues promptly. These are the strategies for workplace conflict resolution. Very important. Now, let us talk about family and community mediation techniques. Family and community mediation techniques. What are the dynamics of family and community conflict? Conflicts within families and communities often involve complex relationships and interdependencies. you know Complex relationships and interdependencies. And it contains some emotional factors, because emotions can run high in family and community conflicts, which requires practitioners to navigate sensitive issues with empathy and sensitivity. Now, what are the techniques for family and community mediation? One of the technique is, the use of family circles, facilitating family meetings where all members have an opportunity to express their their perspectives, and work towards resolution. That is, it's a very important technique for family and community mediation. The second aspect or technique for family and community mediation is community dialogue. Organizing community forums or dialogues to address, community issues collaboratively, involving all stakeholders in the decision-making process. And the third aspect is restorative practice, restorative practices, utilizing restorative justice principles to repair harm, building relationships and even fostering reconciliation within families and communities. These are conflict resolution within, family. Now, let us look at conflict resolution in educational settings. What are the challenges in educational conflict resolution? In educational conflicts, we have diverse stakeholders. Educational conflict may involve students, parents, teachers, administrators, and their stakeholders, each with their own interests and perspectives. And there's also some kind of power dynamics in educational conflict. Power differentials between students and authority, figures. All this can impact conflict resolution processes in educational settings. Now, what are the techniques for conflict resolution in the educational settings? The first one is peer mediation programs, which has to do with implementing peer mediation programs where trained student mediators facilitate conflict resolution among their peers. That is a very effective technique, peer mediation program. Then the second one is parent-teacher conferences. When you provide structured opportunities for parents and teachers to discuss concerns and collaboratively address issues affecting students. That is another technique for conflict resolution in the educational setting. Then, of course, the third aspect, the strategy is curriculum integration. You integrate conflict resolution education into the curriculum to teach students essential skills such as communication, empathy, and even problem solving. These are various, techniques of conflict resolution in educational setting. Now, let us pick some case studies in this module 8. Workplace conflict resolution is one of the case studies that we must look at. In workplace conflict resolution, the case study reads, the case study goes this way. A multinational corporation faces a conflict between two departments competing for resources. The conflict is affecting productivity and even morale. By implementing a structured mediation process facilitated by an external mediator, the departments collaboratively identify their needs and reach a mutually beneficial solution. That is a workplace conflict resolution case study. Another case study is in the area of family and community mediation. That is the case study of a neighborhood dispute which arises over noise complaints between residents. So through community mediation sessions facilitated by trained mediators, neighbors engage in dialogue, shared concerns, and even agree on noise reduction measures, fostering improved relationships and even neighborhood harmony. The third case study is conflict resolution in educational settings. That is the situation where a high school experiences escalating conflicts between students due to rumors and social media disputes. The school implements a peer mediation program, training student mediators to facilitate constructive conversations and even resolve disputes among their peers. This actually led to reduced tension and improved school climate. So, in conclusion, conflict resolution strategies must be tailored to specific contexts to address the unique dynamics and challenges present in workplaces, families, communities, and even educational settings. By understanding the nuances of each environment and employing the appropriate techniques, conflict resolution practitioners can facilitate productive dialogue, promote understanding, and even foster positive outcomes. In the next module, we will explore building sustainable peace, examining the role of conflict resolution in peace building efforts and strategies for promoting long-term reconciliation and healing. And that will take us to module 9, where we'll be looking at building sustainable peace. We have actually looked at this aspect in module 5, but at the same time, we'll look at it again in module 9 so as to expand it, and get a deeper understanding in relation to peace building. We actually looked at it in module 5 in relation to conflict transformation. But in this case, we want to look at building sustainable peace in relation to peace building. What is the role of conflict resolution in peace building? First of all, we have to understand peace building. What is peace building? Peace building involves the long-term process of addressing the root causes of conflict and building structures and relationships that promote peace, justice, and even reconciliation. The goal of peace building, or the primary goal of peace building, is to prevent the reoccurrence of violence and create conditions conducive to sustainable peace and development. That is the primary goal of peace building. It is meant to prevent the reoccurrence of violence and create conditions conducive to sustainable peace and development. And that is what conflict transformation too is all about. Preventing reoccurrence, making sure that the conflict does not even occur again. Now, what are the contributions of conflict resolution to peace building? One, addressing root causes. That is one of the contributions of conflict resolution to peace building. Conflict resolution techniques help identify and address underlying grievances, inequalities, and even structural issues that fuel conflict. The second contribution of conflict resolution to peace building is promoting dialogue and reconciliation. Conflict resolution processes facilitate dialogue, understanding, and even trust building among conflicting parties, laying the foundation for reconciliation and sustainable peace. Now, what are the for strategies for sustainable peace? You know, one of the strategies for sustainable peace is what? Conflict transformation, just like I have mentioned before. So, conflict transformation is one of the strategies for building sustainable peace. That is very key. And we have discussed the concept of conflict transformation, which we now said that it focuses on resolving disputes. Conflict, by seeking to fundamentally change the underlying dynamics and relationships that fuel conflict. And we looked at the various transformative approaches, techniques such as transformative dialogue, restorative justice, community engagement, which promotes deeper understanding, empathy, and even collaboration among conflicting parties, leading to sustainable peace. Now, looking at another aspect, reconciliation and healing processes. Reconciliation and healing processes. In reconciliation actually involves acknowledging past harms, promoting forgiveness, and rebuilding relationships between individuals, communities, or even nations. So the second aspect is healing. Healing processes addresses the psychological, social, and emotional wounds inflicted by conflict, promoting healing and resilience among affected individuals and communities. Very important. Now, there are some case studies. We have always been using this particular case study, this TRC, that is the Truth and Reconciliation Committee of the Post-Apartheid in South Africa. That is a very important case study, an important example of conflict transformation. The South African Truth and Reconciliation Committee, after the apartheid, played a crucial role in post-apartheid South Africa by providing a platform for victims and perpetrators to share their experiences, promote accountability, and even foster national reconciliation. Now, looking at community peace building programs, let us talk about community peace building programs too. The Seeds of Peace program brings together young people from conflict affected regions to engage in dialogue, build understanding, and even develop leadership skills. All these foster lasting friendships and even promoting peace across borders. Now, in conclusion to Module 9, building sustainable peace actually requires concerted efforts to address the root causes of conflict, promote dialogue and reconciliation, and foster healing and resilience in affected communities. Conflict resolution practitioners play a vital role in peace building by facilitating constructive dialogue, promoting understanding, and empowering individuals and communities to work towards a shared vision of peace and prosperity. In the next module, we will actually explore future trends in conflict management, examining emerging technologies, innovative approaches, and global challenges shaping the field of conflict resolution. Now, that will now take us to module 10, where we will look at future trends in conflict management. The field of conflict management is dynamic, continually evolving to address emerging challenges and opportunities. This module actually will explore future trends in conflict management, including the impact of technology, innovative approaches to conflict prevention, and even strategies for addressing global challenges through effective conflict resolution. Now, what are the emerging technologies in conflict resolution? We are seeing what we call technology-enabled conflict resolution tools. Two major technology enabled conflict resolution tools. One is online dispute resolution, ODR. Online dispute resolution. This has to do with platforms and software solutions that facilitate the resolution of disputes online, offering convenient and even accessible alternatives to traditional face-to-face mediation and arbitration. The second aspect is artificial intelligence, AI. We have AI-powered algorithms that can analyze large data sets to identify patterns, predict conflict threats, and even suggest optimal resolution strategies, enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of conflict resolution processes. These are technology-enabled conflict resolution tools. Now, what are the challenges and considerations here? The first challenge is privacy and security. Ensuring the confidentiality and security of sensitive information exchanged during online conflict resolution processes is paramount. That is a challenge. And of course, digital divide. Bridging the digital divide to ensure equitable access to technology-enabled conflict resolution tools is essential for promoting inclusivity and accessibility. The digital divide is wide. That's why there must be some kind of a global digital literacy campaign, so as to ensure that everybody can be brought on board, in terms of taking advantage of the technology-enabled conflict resolution tools. Now, let us look at innovative approaches to conflict resolution. Innovative approaches to conflict resolution. Now, looking at the first one, early warning systems. Under early warning systems, we have predictive analytics. Predictive analytics has to do with what? Leveraging data analytics and machine learning algorithms to forecast potential conflicts and even preemptively intervene to prevent escalation. So AI and big data have been able to, is now helping, can be used to even forecast potential conflicts and even preemptively intervene to prevent escalation. Look at the area of community-based conflict prevention, when you engage local communities in identifying early signs of tension and even implementing preventive measures to address underlying grievances and promote social cohesion. Now let's look at the structural prevention also, addressing root causes, which has to do with tackling structural inequalities, discrimination, and marginalization to address the underlying drivers of conflict and even promote long-term stability and peace. Then another aspect is what? Peace education, which must involve integrating peace education into school curricula and community programs to cultivate a culture of peace, tolerance, and even non-violent conflict resolution from an early age. Now, how do we address global challenges through conflict management? Addressing global challenges through conflict management. Let us look at uh, economic inequality and social justice. Economic inequality and social justice can be addressed through inclusive development and through social justice movements. Under inclusive development, it has to do with promoting equitable economic policies and opportunities to address disparities and prevent social unrest and conflict. Conflict arising from economic disparity. We know about climate change and environmental conflict. Of course, there's resource scarcity, there's environmental diplomacy. Under resource scarcity, it has to do with addressing competition over dwindling resources, such as land, water, energy, to mitigate conflicts that can be exacerbated by climate change. Environmental diplomacy, engaging with multilateral negotiations and even collaborative agreements to address environmental challenges and prevent conflict over natural resources. These are climate change and environmental conflict. What about social justice movement? We know that supporting grassroots movements and advocacy efforts that aim to address systemic injustices and promote social cohesion and inclusion. Finally, capstone project, which has to do with what? Developing a conflict management plan. This is a capstone project challenge. Like you as a participant, you can apply the knowledge and skills you have acquired in this course to develop a conflict management or a comprehensive conflict management plan tailored to a specific context or tailored to a specific organization. And what are the components of a conflict management plan? First of all, is needs assessment. 2, strategy development. 3, implementation plan. 4, monitoring and evaluation. These are the components of his conflict management plan. You can develop a comprehensive conflict management plan tailored to a specific organization or even tailored to a specific concept. You can also engage us at the comment section of this particular training. You know, looking at these components, we will actually look at the final conclusion of this training here. As conflict management continues to evolve, practitioners must stay abreast of emerging trends and innovations to effectively address contemporary challenges and opportunities. By embracing technology, adopting innovative approaches to conflict prevention, and even tackling global issues through effective conflict resolution, practitioners can contribute to building a more peaceful and just world. With the completion of this course, this module, participants will have gained a forward-thinking perspectives on the future of conflict management and the tools and strategies needed to navigate it successfully. This brings us to the end of this training. Like I said from the beginning, I want to thank you for staying with us. This training is actually produced by the Institute for Crisis Resolution, Peacebuilding and Conciliation, ICRPC, based in Abuja, Nigeria. This training, you can actually visit us. You can visit our website at www.icrpcng.com. You can send us a mail. You can even interact with us on the comment section of this particular course, and we will get back to you. If you need to have our email address, you can write us, you can contact us. And of course, this training is free for those who may want the certificate for this training and also the course material for this training. It costs only $10. You can send us a mail, info@icrpcng.com, or even send us a WhatsApp message. We can provide you with means of payment, and we can also produce the certificates and send you the course materials. I am Ambassador Dr. Abdul Wahid Odewale once again. Thank you very much for staying with us, and we'll see you in our next course.